Welcome to This Just In, the show bringing you the latest advancements in healthcare, strategy, innovation, and public policy. And now, for the fastest voice in healthcare, here's your host, Justin Barnes.
Thank you for tuning in and welcome to This Just In. I'm your host, Justin Barnes. In these episodes, I'll bring you the latest advancements in healthcare, strategy, innovation, and leadership. As always, we're broadcasting from the This Just In studios on the Business Radio X network, as well as the Healthcare Now radio network. However, before we dive into our special show today, and as I briefly mentioned during our last show, I'm excited to announce that on the heels of our 2024 Podcast of the Year award, we just expanded our broadcast into the Global Health Podcast Network, and the phenomenal community there could not be more excited and thrilled as we continue to grow and expand globally. Also, excited to announce that the This Just In radio show will be broadcasting live from Vive 25 in Nashville, February 16th and 19th, as well as broadcasting live from HIMSS 25 in Las Vegas, March 3rd through the 6th. Always great to see and collaborate with thousands of our closest industry friends and peers. I'm ready, but also ready for this episode, my 320th episode. We've modified the format to host a show focused on the fascinating future of life sciences and genomics with two leading experts in the industry. Please welcome Harini Malik, Worldwide Strategic Business Development Lead, Public Sector, Telco, Healthcare, and Retail from AMD, and Sandra Colner, General Manager, Healthcare and Life Sciences, Alliance and Global Industries from Dell Technologies. Welcome to the show, Harini and Sandra. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
You got it. Great to have you both.
Thank you.
First, you got it. So Harini, where are you calling in from today?
I'm calling in from sunny Houston, Texas. It's a bit cloudy today, but typically sunny.
Excellent. Sandra?
I'm calling in from Austin, Texas, from the Dell Technologies headquarters.
Love it. And I'm here in Sarasota, kind of at sunset here. So it's a little bit brighter than normal, but certainly grateful for it. So let's go ahead and start. This is going to be a great show and episode, role of life sciences in healthcare innovation. So Sandra, let's first start with you. You're the new global GM for Dell Healthcare Life Sciences. Where do you see the biggest opportunities in the life sciences sectors and why?
Well, great first question, Justin. Thank you. And it's one that the team and I are really excited about. I couldn't be more excited about the growth in research and really especially around what we call emerging AI research tools that are really growing rapidly, like cryo-EM, cryo-ET, spatial omics, and so many others. It's just fascinating how the combination of different technologies are just and the data sets are just rapidly driving all of this de novo protein design. We're really talking about genomics and proteomics and cryo-EM and traditional microscopy almost on a daily basis now. So another area too within that is the growth of rapid ingestion of research data and just how we can drive those new research initiatives at just an unprecedented pace.
Yeah, excellent. And Harini, from your AMD's perspective, how do you see your technology support advancements in life sciences, particularly in the areas of genomics?
Great question. But before I kind of dive right into it, I wanted to start off by saying that AMD does have a long history of innovation. We've been pushing the envelope in terms of high performance computing for some time. But even prior to that, if you really look at the first, the x86 64-bit instruction set that's running on everyone's desktop, laptop, data servers was actually, AMD was the one to invent that got adopted into the industry. We were the first to introduce the dual-core, multi-core CPUs into the market, the first to actually bring in the CPU and GPU into one die. And so all of this innovation, has kind of really led to where we are today with especially the Zen series of CPUs or the EPYC series of processors that we have today. So we do have a great portfolio of, the data center EPYC CPUs, as well as the Instinct GPU line, as well as the FPGAs and our networking products from Pensando. So and all of this forms the core of the data center, right? And we are really excited to partner with Dell to provide that wide portfolio of products. AMD EPYC CPUs are the fastest processors in the world, and we have industry-leading performance in a lot of the business critical apps like visualization, database, and others. But when you also look at HPC, we are the leaders in the high-performance computing space, and AMD is in 50% of the top 10 supercomputers in the world. Life sciences, in many ways, right, uses large amounts of data, and it needs that high-performance computing to go deliver, the outputs that customers are looking for, whether it's genomic sequencing, drug discovery. All of this, is something that AMD does extremely well. We actually process genomic data much faster. We enable much faster time to market, on drugs in the drug discovery space. I'm really excited to really see that inflection in the market and how AMD and Dell can deliver together in the life sciences space.
Yep. Love it. I mean, so you can talk about innovation. I was in a discussion that you were part of earlier today. I mean, I guess you've been doing this personally for a little over 20 years now. Has that been with AMD for 20 years too?
Yes, I've been in the industry for almost 30 years and with AMD for about 20. So I date myself here. But yeah, it is exciting times with AMD, and especially with what we are doing in the data center space and AI.
Yep. Well, I've been doing this for 29 years, going on 30 years. So we're probably, similar boats there. I love it and wouldn't change a thing though. So Sandra, let's dive into genomics innovation. That's I get really excited about that just because, obviously I've been on the healthcare IT side again for almost 30 years now. And specifically genomics we've been talking about genomics for a long time, but we're having some significant breakthroughs, certainly when you start to layer in AI, but it's been highlighted, as a key focus, but can you share, a little bit more about the importance of increasing genome processing capacity and how Dell and AMD are partnering to achieve that?
Yeah, absolutely. Genomics is a critical growth area in healthcare and life sciences, especially with this expansion of single-cell genomics and the introduction of all of these new tabletop sequencers that we have, right? Increasing genome capacity is really going to be vital. It ensures that researchers can analyze the large volumes of genetic data, and they can do it more quickly and accurately. It's really particularly important in oncology. And really, that's where we're seeing where whole genome sequencing can drive significant advancements. Our partnership with Dell and AMD is instrumental in achieving this. AMD focuses on driving greater utilization of CPUs for those sequencing tasks and really leveraging the GPU for secondary and the tertiary analysis. So just our approach really optimizes the entire data processing pipeline. And at Dell, we're providing solutions that are advancing a lot of the processing capabilities. And when we combine that with AMD's high performance processors and with the GPU, our infrastructure just allows these research institutions to handle greater volumes of data and at really high speeds. So together, we're enabling the deployment of those new tabletop analyzers and sequencers. And it's really helping just expand the computational need, in particular, like we talked about, like single cell genomics. This partnership just paves the way for that faster discovery and improve patient outcomes. And I just am excited to see all those advancements in oncology in particular.
Yeah, so I guess let's dive into that a little bit. And Harini, I'll push this next question to you. What technological advancements I would say are enabling, faster and more efficient genome processing today, and specifically, obviously, what AMD is doing. But tell me about these types of advances that are coming down the pipeline and that are here today.
Absolutely. Genomics is such an important field in life sciences, like you said, in the previous podcast that we just did. I mean, when you look at it, the first human genome, it took 13 years of development, cost over $3 billion. And, it just was working across multiple sites. And by the time it was 2008, that cost of the human genome came down to $2 million. By 2014, it came down to about $1,000. Right. And now the cost of human genome is just so insignificant, in the tens of dollars range, right? And when you look at some of NGS, and which really sequences millions of, DNA fragments at one time, and analyzes that structure of the genome, finds the gene variations, the gene activity. The biggest barrier to that advancement, previously was, first of all, more accurate sequencing, reduced costs of sequencing, and how do you use that genetic data? So with high performance computing products from AMD, we can actually sequence that data in a much faster fashion. So I'm going to give you an example of this company called Sentient that we've been working with that does a lot of the short read and the long read genetic sequencing. And just on a 2P general purpose AMD server, you can process 151 genomes per day per node. But this is faster than what you can get out of an 8 NVIDIA H100.
Yep.
So imagine the cost, it's 12x cheaper, to do that on an AMD general purpose server, and much faster as well. I mean, you're looking at, and this is just one server, right? And then if you look at some of the, the overall open source tools like BWA, AMD can perform 2x faster than our competition on the processor side. So what we enable from a genomic standpoint is getting to faster accuracy, lower cost, and this enables, to take genomics to the next step. Because one of the most significant parts of genomics is that you can actually use AI to identify some of the disease markers and analyze some of the genetic variations, at a speed and accuracy that humans find it hard to believe. Hard to do this because, at the end of the day, we like to think that we are superhuman, but, we do, processing that amount of data is just so relevant with AI. And that enables, precision medicine because the doctors can go determine, genetic predispositions, go take a more proactive approach to medicine versus a reactive approach that we are today. So hence genomics becomes a very important part of life sciences, and AMD is able to enable this, both from a CPU as well as a GPU standpoint with the right products from Dell.
Yeah, and I think this is actually this one gets extremely exciting because we can actually kind of pinpoint, sharpshoot cures and medicine instead of shotgun approaches and just broad scale. We can get down to the specific issues very quickly, as you just mentioned. So let's kind of evolve this into the AI and genomics specifically, where it gets extremely exciting and also kind of rapid development. I guess I'll ask you, Harini, first. How do you see artificial intelligence fitting into genomics and life sciences over the next few years? I know we're evolving very quickly. So, are there specific areas where you're already seeing significant impact?
So I think we're still in the beginning phases of AI. Healthcare is a little bit of a risk-averse industry, right? Because at the end of the day, it's people who are involved, and so there's a lot to be done in terms of being able to leverage AI, but in many ways, we've been generating vast amounts of data, right, for over 30 plus years. That data is available. It's a matter of being able to train, these models with the available data and ensure, the accuracy of what you can get to. But specifically from a genomic standpoint, like we discussed just a little bit earlier, it enables that personalized approach to medicine because every one of us has, genetic markers that becomes very difficult, to go analyze just at a point in time. But if you can go take our genetic data and compare that to what is available, right, across the wide spectrum of the world and the human population, you can go look at, what type of personalized medicine you are able to go do. So that is one area that I think AI is going to play a big role. I think there's another area, especially around drug discovery, where Today it's very, very time intensive process because from the time a drug, is developed from concept to market. So AI is revolutionizing the space significantly by accelerating some of the key stages in the drug development process, such as like target identification, lead discovery, and really optimizing some of the clinical trial space as well, right, to accelerate the drugs to be time to market, which also costs less, and that savings gets passed on, to us as consumers and patients.
Absolutely. Sandra, what would you add on to that, or your perspective from Dell? I mean, how do you see AI fitting into genomics and life sciences over the next couple of years?
Yeah, well, Harini just did a fantastic job. I think laying out a lot of different items, but AI just is really poised to become that powerful tool in genomics, and it's really the integration into multi-omics, and I think that's something that we're going to see really, really soon. And this in particular, I think, is where where we need to involve AI and just with existing data sets, unlock that deeper insight. Harini mentioned, even some of those specifics. And I think one of the things that I'm also excited about is the prospect of the optimization of CRISPR tools through AI and what we expect to see in the whole new generation of drug discovery or precision medicine also, right? Those are the things that we're all just, the industry's abuzz with that. And just as more of that data becomes available, we just really anticipate a dramatic increase in both diagnostic and advancements in medical devices. I think it's going to impact, a few main areas: rare disease with diagnostic models that, we're already seeing significant improvements and really helping to identify some of those genetic markers to diagnose conditions. And, we're seeing the rollout of some clinical decision support in systems and leveraging that genetic data. But I also see, these systems and healthcare professionals with, really kind of detailed insights in how they can perform better treatment decisions with AI. And of course, AI is it's accelerating gene expression analysis, right? Making it easier, more precise. It's just critical for us to understand these really complex genetic interactions and developing those targeted therapies. So, overall, AI's role in genomics is just it's expanding rapidly, right? And that impact is going to be felt, I think, across many aspects of both research and in clinical practice.
Yeah, I completely agree. Harini and I actually we're out at I think 60,000 of us were out in Las Vegas the other week for reInvent and saw some of these unique, early case studies, but I get a lot more on the way. It's kind of cool how fast these are rapid. These are coming to fruition. And for those that may have tuned in a little late today, welcome to our special episode focused on the future of life sciences and genomics with two leading experts in the industry. Harini Malik, Worldwide Strategic Business Development Lead for Healthcare for AMD, and Sandra Colner, General Manager for Healthcare and Life Sciences, Alliance and Global Industries from Dell. So in the kind of like the last 6 or so minutes of the show, I like to turn the tide a little bit over to strategic visions, kind of like in predictions. Like what can we expect in the coming? We talked a little bit about the last couple of, some AI and genomics over the last couple of years or next couple of years, but let's talk about the next 2 to 3 years, specifically on some trending. So I'll start off with you, Sandra. What do you see as a top industry trends shaping life sciences in the next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, no, great question. One of the top industry trends that we're observing is really the deployment of new instruments and the availability of data that those are creating. This is just going to drive a massive increase in both protein discovery and really the potential of therapeutic responses. And of course, I'd be remiss not to mention the rapid rollout just of AI that we've talked about. We're seeing AI acceleration in R&D efforts and significantly improving operational efficiencies just across the board, right? And I guess the other major trend that I'll mention is the increasing coordination that we're seeing between providers, researchers, and also commercial organizations. I think we're really starting to kind of see the immense benefits of collaborative research and this happening on a global scale, which is also, I think, extraordinarily important. So it's just crucial of how we're going to advance the scientific discoveries and really improve patient outcomes just across the world.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I actually just wrote a thought leadership piece that I'll put out in about a month from now, but talking about how we have advanced. Even I'm on the health IT, digital health side pretty heavily, and we've seen such advancements in digital health and usability because of the integration of providers with these innovators. We had a lot of disparate processes in the past, but where Gen AI has come into play and really getting provider workflows integrated, and then also integrating that deeply with the workflows of the product, we're seeing much greater advancements, and we're going to see that much more quickly. It's exciting to see so far, but now we're going to really see that deeper on the care management side and the provider side in healthcare. I love that aspect of it. So Harini, I mean, what do you say from your perspective at AMD? What can we expect to see from a trending strategy for the next couple of years, 2 to 3 years?
Sandra touched upon a lot of the things, right? I do think that we are still in the beginning phases of AI right now, and AI is going to get ubiquitous in almost every aspect of healthcare. Because today it's kind of done in a much smaller way than what I see maybe 2 to 3 years from now. I think especially on the R&D side, I think it will revolutionize the research and development, especially around drug discovery, clinical trials, as well as personalized treatment planning, like we just discussed. I think generative AI is going to be models, especially to go analyze that vast data sets that already exist to identify, like, especially potential therapies, and also predict some of the patient responses to those therapies and tailor those treatments to be a lot more personalized, to the end customers, especially taking into consideration their genetic profiles is going to be another aspect. I think it's also going to help providers. I think providers are going to start leveraging AI in a big way.
Absolutely.
Because, AI can go look at some of the real-time information and help with some of the diagnostics as well as the treatment planning for patients. So you're going to, as one of us goes and walks into a provider facility, it's going to, especially like when you look at places like Houston, New York, and other places where it's very diverse. I expect AI to get to a point where it makes it more personal, depending on whatever language you're comfortable with. Having an AI bot actually welcome you and talk to you in the language of your choice. Able to give you an idea of hey, this is how long it's going to take. We hear that these are the symptoms. We're going to be able to go treat you in this fashion, and before the doctor comes on board and is able to give you a real read on what really is going to happen. So I do think that between R&D, drug development, personalized medicine, some of the decision, especially clinical decision support, AI is going to be pervasive in every aspect of what we do. And, it's no longer going to be that big shiny object that is still very mystical. It's going to become part of our everyday lives.
Yep. We have 1 minute left. So I'll hand this over to you, Sandra. How do you anticipate Dell and AMD adapting to these trends to remain at the forefront of innovation? I mean, I guess like maybe 55 seconds and kind of the roadmap here.
Well, to stay ahead of these trends, right, we at Dell are focusing on accelerating and pre-testing our infrastructure to make sure that we're meeting the needs and the performance expectations. Just the sheer volume of data being generated, it requires advanced storage solutions and integrated cloud environments, and Dell Technologies continues to be on the forefront of that. So we're going to continue to just validate and help with this rapid AI adoption.
Love it. And yeah, about 30 seconds or so left. Harini, anything you want to add to that from AMD's perspective?
Absolutely. AMD has been at the forefront of this high performance computing space. And in fact, we have a very solid roadmap, and we've executed on time for the last few generations. We have some exciting products coming up in our roadmap, both from an EPYC as well as an Instinct GPU standpoint, as well as really we're trying to bring together the overall full solutions. The thing that AMD is doing is trying to keep to that open source framework so everyone can innovate, versus trying to keep it to a very close framework where, it's restricted in many ways for all parties to come together and innovate. And we're excited in terms of really furthering our partnership with Dell in the life sciences space, but across all of healthcare. We've been doing, a great job in terms of collaborating across, some of the different verticals with Dell, and I fully expect that life sciences, with Sandra on board at the lead, we are going to be able to go drive that share with Dell and AMD.
Love it. And also, I would be remiss if I did not congratulate. So AMD, Lisa Su won CEO of the Year. So that's very cool. That was just announced. So congratulations to you and the entire team. Certainly well earned. Thank you both, Harini and Sandra, for joining me today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You got it. And I truly appreciate you guys both taking your time out of your busy schedules to participate. And a big thank you to all my listeners and supporters who voted us 2024 Podcast of the Year. Please tune in to the show as we broadcast weekdays at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific. And as always, you can find me on LinkedIn at Justin T. Barnes and track me on Twitter at HIT Advisor and use the hashtag ThisJustinRadio so we can respond to your comments from the show. If you missed any of this episode or want to hear more, all the shows are posted at Apple iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, and TuneIn. And you can check out some of the new content we put out there on the Thought Leadership page for justinbarnes.com. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.